Welcome back to Summerking Unmasked. Today we need to talk about a hidden boundary that has saved my life every single day that not many people know exist. Sensory boundaries. For an autistic creator, the world's volume can be at an 11 all the time. The lights are brighter, the noises are louder, and social expectation can leave you running on empty every single day. Today, I am pulling back the mask on what it's like to protect your peace. Say no to the noise and build a fortress around your creative energy. For a long time, I didn't know that saying no to the noise or having a sensory boundary exists. Basically, I didn't know that I was allowed to have a sensory boundary. And I thought it would make me look weak if I were to set those boundaries. In fact, I didn't know that it would have made me look like that way because I wasn't aware that I had autism up until I was 19. So that also contributed to why I wasn't able to create a sensory boundary up until now. But even that, I thought I had to tough everything out, and if I didn't, it would make me look weak and I might be excluded. For example, if I were to go into crowded areas, depending on the event, let's say to huge family events, or better yet, going into a gym at my high school when there is graduates inside the gym where all the students and staffs and graduates were crowded together. That made me uncomfortable, and even some of the staffs noticed it, and they offered to take me somewhere where I'll be comfortable. But I said, no, I'm good, because I didn't want to miss out on being a normal person. And that's what contributed to me not wanting to set those boundaries. It's because I didn't want to be looked at differently. I didn't want to be viewed as the problem or someone who can't handle a little bit of noise. But the thing is, coming from an autistic person, the little bit of noise is 10 times larger than you actually think. So I felt that in order to participate in the activities, I had to just tough it out. But as a result, it left me completely exhausted. Like, literally. Even though I didn't notice it, but unbeknownst to me at the time, I was starting to have a crash. And the moment I got home, I was exhausted. Even though I didn't really display it or show it, but inside, I feel like I was about to crash. And that should have been the moment that I should have set the sensory boundaries, but that was the toll it took on me, which is why it's important for me to set those sensory boundaries. So, fast forwarding to the present, knowing what I know now and what I've been experiencing, I decided that enough is enough. That I was putting my foot down and decided to set some boundaries for my sensory overloads, and I was taking back my crown because I wasn't going to sit around and pretend that I'm okay when I'm not, especially with every nerve, every sensories I have is screaming bloody murder because my sensory overload is kicking in. So I created a boundary. If there is ever any point where I'm starting to feel like my sensory overload is starting to take over, and if I'm feeling uncomfortable, like if the lighting's is messing with me or I'm starting to get overwhelmed, like for example, I'm at work 8 hours a day. Originally, I was expected to just tough it out, but it got to the point where in order for me to get through the day, I had to take at least a 5-minute breather in order to not only manage my sensory overloads, but just to get through the day. And if I hadn't done that, then I probably would have gotten overwhelmed, and my sensory overload will cause me to have a crash. And so I set those boundaries, and my employers knows about that, and that is how I was able to get through my day at work. And when I'm out in public in general, it just depends. But most of the time, the only safe dwellings I found that I can safely manage my sensory overloads is here at home. Because right now, you can't really hear sounds except for the sound of my voice. Because too much noise and commotion can cause me to have a sensory overload, especially when I already had a long day at work. So that is where my sensory boundaries comes from. I had to be at least somewhere quiet for at least 5 minutes in order to get through the day and not cause me to have a sensory overload. That was my sensory boundaries. Having a quiet space and just removing myself from an environment that's going to cause me to have a sensory overload. And since I've installed that boundary, it has worked wondrous for me. Not only did it allow me to calm down, but when I come back into the environment, I feel refreshed and ready to continue on. And it prevents me from having a crash. Before we end this episode, I want to encourage each and every one of you to create your own sensory boundaries. No matter how crazy or ridiculous it may seem to other people, but you are creating your own sensory boundaries. You are protecting your creative energy. So protect that creative energy, even if it means having to avoid the noise entirely. It's all about protecting your own peace and your creative energy. So don't let anyone tell you different, and don't let anyone take that away from you. If the people around you support it, then keep those people. If they don't support it, then cut those people out of your life and find people who will support it. And just to give you a heads up, for the next episode, we are going to be diving into the creative batteries and the burnout. So keep an eye out for that episode, which will be 2 weeks from now on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to follow me on Spotify. And also don't forget to subscribe to my podcast channel on YouTube. And I'll see you all in the next episode.